All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special presentation of TR Schools TV's coverage of Shore Conference football. Tonight, it's Week 6 here from Gernard Field, and it's an all-times-ever showcase of talent, speed, and excellence as the Toms River East Raiders take on the Toms River North Mariners in the Game of the Week presented by the TRE. Glad you could be with us. I'm Casey Kennerkowski. Tonight, these two Toms River schools facing off against one another for the 39th time in their two schools' history. Toms River North leading the all-time series 20-17 with one tie. As we've got the coin toss between the captains here at midfield. Captains for Toms River North, number 16, Ty Kazanowski, number 65, Justin Smith, and number 77, Michael Dowd. For Toms River East, in the white, you've got Dante Carr, number 2, Eric Scanlon, number 5, Anthony Encarnacion, number 22, and number 56, Tommy Pravada. As far as these two schools coming into this game, Toms River East 1-4 on the season. 1-3 is how they finished up in the Shore Conference Freedom Division. Tough schedule. They ended up playing at Southern, who was ranked in the top 10. They lost to Freehold, a game that we saw earlier this year here on TR Schools TV. And then last week had a bit of a hard time there with the Green Wave of Long Branch. As for Toms River North, they had the 4th toughest schedule of any public school in New Jersey. They ran through the gauntlet there. Colts Neck, close loss at home. Then they ended up picking up a win from Donovan Catholic by forfeit, and then lost to Wall, and last week had to play the number 1 team of the Shore, Rumson Fairhaven. So they are excited to get back here to friendly confines of the home turf and try to finish off the regular season at 500 in back-to-back weeks with wins here tonight against Toms River East, and then next week the annual Civil War game against Toms River South. Good show of sportsmanship there by the Raiders as they come across. Shake the hands of the coaches here at Toms River North. We'll get ready to go here in a moment. East had won the toss. They defer to the second half. So we're going to see Toms River, or excuse me, they're going to receive the ball, excuse me. So Toms River East with the ball first. A lot of excitement from both sides here. Toms River East coach Kyle Sandberg in his 6th year has yet to beat Toms River North. As for Dave Ozowitz, his 9th year, he's got a 7-1 record against the Raiders. Beautiful night, early kick here, 6 o'clock start. Sun setting, lights on. And we're ready to go here between the Mariners and the Raiders. And we're underway. This one fielded and muffed. It's going to go back in the end zone for a touchback. That was number 8, Nevin Hart there. So it'll be the Raiders starting off from their own 20-yard line. As far as quarterbacks, still going with Eric Scanlon, number 5. Senior signal caller had a nice week on the ground last week. 14 carries, 61 yards, had a long of 48. Couldn't get really much going with the passing game, just 1 of 7. Top 2 backs, of course, Nick Medina and Dante Carr, number 21 and number 22, number 21 and 2, respectively. As for Toms River North, you're going to see a 3-4 front. A lot of big guys down low, though. Michael Dowd, 77, Nicholas Biacco, number 76, anchoring in the middle of that line. 1st and 10 Raiders. Just want a handoff around the strong side to Medina. Very short gain. A little more than a yard. And you see right there, Toms River North with the defense coming up. Ty Bolin, number 10, the middle linebacker, probably the best defensive player on the team. Also, you got Kazanowski, the captain, 16. And then coming up from the secondary, you'll see a couple guys rotating in. Micah Ford, number 1, you'll see him as quarterback on the offense. Jeremiah Pruitt, number 4, and Junior Matthews, number 6. Be 2nd and 9 for Scanlon and the Raiders. Got Carr coming across in motion. Defense jumps a little early there. And for Toms River East tonight, if they're going to be able to pull off an upset, They're going to need Toms River North to have a couple of penalties like that, maybe create a couple turnovers. Toms River East, again, turnovers have plagued their offense the first 5 weeks of the season. A negative 10 turnover differential. Going to have to flip the script on that tonight to stay in this one. So after the North penalty at 2nd and 4, 2 wide receivers split to the top side of your screen. Handoff Medina up the middle. He gets hit at about the 25 but falls forward to the 29. Good gain of 3. Brings up a 3rd down and 1. As you see Kazanowski and Bolin there on the tackles. Interesting to see what the 3rd down calls will be here for Coach Sandberg and the Raiders, because first couple weeks they tried to spread them out against Toms River South and Southern. Worked against South, didn't work against Southern. Last couple weeks have been trying to go north-south right up the middle against some really tough opposition. This time they keep it up the middle, and it depends upon if he was dragged across that line by his O-line. Needed to get exactly to the 30, and he does, right on the money. That time, a lot of credit there to that east line. You got Nino Scala, 50, the captain, or excuse me, the center. Then you got the captain, Tommy Bravada, 56. 59, Ryan Ushak as well in there. So you're going to need all those guys to really do a nice job against this Toms River North defensive front.
Raiders first down.
So a 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Scanlon making the adjustments. He's got Hart coming in motion. This time it's a keeper up the middle by Scanlon. He'll gain 2.
Ball carried by Eric Sandman, number 5.
As we've seen.
Rodriguez on the tackle for the Mariners defense. 2-yard gain.
That time we get number 22, Anthony Rodriguez, a sophomore, on the stop. One theme for Toms River North, both sides of the ball. A lot of sophomores, 27 listed on the roster compared to just 6 seniors who were honored prior to this game on senior night here at Toms River North. Another part of the Raiders' game plan tonight, you have to figure keep the ball away from that high-powered, potentially explosive Toms River North offense. So they are taking a lot of time here. We come up on the 8-minute mark. This opening quarter, a 2nd and 8. This one, he gives the handoff to Hart on the jet sweep, and not much room there as the Mariners defense closed those lanes very quickly. Got a couple guys coming in there, including number 79, Jalen Matthew, 6'6", 300-pound defensive lineman coming in there to make the stop.
3rd down and 9 for Toms River East. At their own
The Raiders here. Raiders are not in the spot where they want to be. A 3rd and 9. They've had trouble on 3rd down this year, converting just 1 out of every 4 3rd down attempts this season. So they need to keep it in the manageable range. This is not it. And we'll see if North decides to bring a little pressure here on 3rd down and 9. Back to throw Scanlon, looking left. Blitz came that way. He dumps it out. And he's got a receiver there up to about the 50-yard line. Have to see if that's going to be a penalty. That was number 88, Jake Buckman, as he gets knocked out of bounds right at midfield. No penalty on the tackle, but a solid gain there up to midfield for the Raiders. And, you know, that's one of the things that Scanlon's going to have to do tonight with all the pressure coming his way. He's going to have to hang in the pocket as he did just there and make a nice bullet direct pass to Buckman. So the Raiders in business, moving the ball on their opening drive. Almost half of this first quarter off the books. as they're playing a little bit almost like a service academy, trying to take and keep the ball away from their opponents. This time inside handoff Medina. He'll pick up 2.
Medina, the ball carrier.
Look like 22 there, Rodriguez again in on the tackle.
Wrapped up by number 33 on the Mariners side of the ball. 3-yard gain, second down.
So a 2-yard gain there.
8 for the Raiders.
Toms River North, their defense, even a couple years ago when they had those state playoff runs, including that state title back in 2015, their defense wasn't really the story. It was always their offense, guys like Mike Husney. You had Jake Kazanowski, the brother of Ty, who was here the last couple years. It's always the offensive story. Defense has struggled of late. They've given up about 33 points per game, rather, this year. Obviously, the tough competition had something to do with it as we get a run by Scanlon across the 45-yard line to the 44.
Number 4.
As there's Jeremiah Pruitt, number 4, making the stop. Brings up a 3rd down and 4 from the Mariners' 44 with 5:20 and rolling here in the opening quarter between the Mariners and Raiders. Tonight, Toms River North looking to win their 8th straight against these Raiders. Last time the Raiders won here, it was back in 2006. Some of these players weren't even alive back then. We get a 3rd down. Misdirection play, ball on the ground. Ball is on the ground and picked up by Toms River North right away. So big turnover there for Toms River East. Cannot have that take place. Number 79 there of Toms River North, Jalen Matthew, with the recovery, bouncing on it. It looked like it was a handoff opportunity on the misdirection play between Scanlon and Carr, and they just got caught in translation. So the 14th turnover of the season for Toms River East nullifies what was a pretty productive drive. First look here for Toms River North. This is Ford, the quarterback. He breaks into the secondary and gets across the 35-yard line up to the 33. You see a little bit of that kind of quick step that he's got. As we've got an injured North player down on the ground. That's number 65, Justin Smith, one of the co-captains. And so after the Mariners' first play there, nets a 1st down up to the 33. We got a little injury timeout. And so while we have that, let's take a look around the Shore Conference tonight. A couple of big matchups going on. Top 5 matchup between Wall, number 5, and number 3, Donovan Catholic. I'm sure you've heard the story about Donovan Catholic. One of the ways that Toms River North ended up getting a win, there was an ineligible player on the Donovan Catholic team. Therefore, they had to forfeit all of those wins. Still ranked number 3 at the Shore because they are very talented, very deep. But the fact that they had to forfeit those games changes the PowerPoint's look for the postseason, helps Toms River North out because now Toms River North sits number 9 in the South Jersey Group 5 standings. And they will be right in the hunt if they can take care of business this week against East and next week against South. Should be able to host a state playoff game. A couple other matchups. Number 4, Middletown South playing at number 9, Southern. Southern lost last week to Manalapan in a tough game. Manalapan's playing at Jackson Memorial. The surprise this year, probably the Jackson Memorial, 0-5. Not used to saying that with those guys. Middletown North, the 11, playing at number 14, Brick. These games all tonight. Freehold, after losing to Toms River South last week, playing at St. John Vianney. Top team at the Shore, Rumson Fairhaven, playing at Colts Neck tomorrow, as well as Long Branch playing at Toms River South. Good to see Justin Smith up on his feet. He's getting a little bit of assistance. As we'll see, it looks like Joshua Kay, number 64, is going to check in for him. Big old line there, 56, Justin Kay. Then you got Joshua Kay, got Michael Dowd, Matthew, who had that recovery. A lot of big guys there on that line. Handoff up the middle, this one. And he goes for a touchdown. That's number 24, Josh Moore, with a 33-yard scamper. Little laundry on the field, though, at about the 10-yard line. So it appears as though that one will come back. Nice run there, though, by the sophomore. 5'9", 160. Shows some flashes of speed there as he gets around the interior of that Raiders defense. And so the officials are going to walk it back from the spot of the penalty. And they'll place the ball down at the 20, so it'll negate the touchdown, but still a first down for the Mariners up to the 20. A lot of speed on this team. Tariq Council, number 2, one of the wideouts. Number 4, Jeremiah Pruitt, also a wideout. As Ford going to go to a 3-wide look. And that time just a little early there. A little bit early. Jolto Roche there. Looks like he went just a bit early. Fortunate for Tom's Reese, it looked like they only had one guy out there to try to guard 2 receivers. And so 2 straight penalties here against Toms River North, backing them up to their 25-yard line of the Raiders with inside of 4 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter. Still no score. Toms River East had the ball first. They were driving, then had a turnover at about midfield. And now Toms River North trying to score off of it as it's Ford with 1st and 15 here. So he goes around the right side, gets to the edge. Trying to push him out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Just the speed and athleticism of the sophomore. 6'1", 205, but he kind of moves there. He's got that Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton back in the heyday type of first step. Gets around the edge. Nothing really that Scala, number 4, could do.
Ball spotted at the Raiders' 5-yard line. First and goal, Mariners.
So we had first and goal, Mariners at the 5. Moore up in motion. Quarterback, over his head. This one might still work out as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe even got a yard on that one. So a little bit of a wide snap, a little high. Ford calmly collects the ball, turns upfield quickly, and ends up getting a yard there. So disaster averted there for the Mariners as they're knocking on the goal line. Bring up a 2nd and goal from the 4. Moore in the backfield alongside of Ford. Quarterback keeper around a strong side, fighting his way, pressing his way into the end zone for a Mariners touchdown. They had him wrapped up, but he kept the legs churning and forces his way into the end zone. So with 2:30 remaining here in the first quarter, it's Toms River North on the board first with a Micah Ford 4-yard touchdown scamper. As we'll get the extra point coming in here from number 23, Dylan Coursey. Hold will be by Josh Moore, number 24. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and it is good. Wasn't a work of art, but it didn't need to be, just had to get over that crossbar. And so with 2:30 remaining here in the opening quarter, it's Toms River North 7 and Toms River East nothing. We've seen this from Toms River East a couple times on defense where some of these stronger quarterbacks, trying to think of the guy Gill from Freehold, who who had 5 touchdowns in that game a couple weeks back. He just used that kind of big frame, speed, quickness, athleticism, and just got around anywhere he wanted to. And, you know, Ford so far is showing that he's going to be a force for Toms River North, not just this week or this season, but for a couple years to come, as he's only a sophomore. As we mentioned earlier, speaking of that sophomore theme, Toms River North, a lot of their key players are sophomores. You got 2 Tariq Council, number 4 Jeremiah Pruitt. You got number 11 Trey Ranella. Anthony Rodriguez, 22 on defense. Josh Moore, the running back, a sophomore, number 24. And then Jalen Matthew, who had the recovery there, number 79, also a sophomore. So Toms River North, Coach Osowitz, building for some good things to come in the next few years. And it'll be Luke Osowitz here to kick it away. This one, good kick. Fielded about the 5-yard line. Across the 20, 25-yard line, down to about the 26. And that's Amari Phillips, number 10, on the return. Phillips is a guy that early in the season didn't get much playing time, but each week he seems to increase his workload. Special teams, see him a lot as a linebacker, also a couple of carries last week against Long Branch. And so Toms River East in a familiar spot here, usually playing from behind. Let's see how they respond after that opening drive. They had their turnover. Toms River North capitalizing on it. Raiders need to respond here. It'll be Carr in the backfield alongside Scanlon. Hard in motion. Keeper by Scanlon. Around the left side. Nice job. Getting out in the clear across the 40 and down around the 44-yard line. So exactly the start that you'd want coming out of that turnover on the last drive. A 17-yard gain by the senior. You know, the battle that we're going to see all night is that battle along the line of scrimmage. Toms River North, probably about 40 or 50 pounds net bigger, stronger than the East line. So if East is going to have any chance, they're going to have to get those guys moving sideways. A run like that by Scanlon will do the trick. So 1st and 10 Raiders at their own 44-yard line. 2 back look. Hand off to Carr around the weak side. And he stood up quickly there, number 33, and on the tackle there, Nasir McDougald. Up to the 47-yard line, gain of 3 on first down.
Wrapped up by number 4 of the Mariners defense. 3-yard gain. 2nd down and 7 for the.
One thing about the Raiders there, if they're going to have success, they're going to need to get Carr involved in the run game. He had a touchdown earlier this season against Freehold. And then has had, you know, times where he kind of goes quiet. They don't really get him involved in the game plan. If they can get him involved going north and south, it might open up some things around the outside for some of the speedsters like Hart and Medina. Handoff up the middle. Medina breaks a couple tackles, gets to the 50 and across to the 49-yard line. Pickup of 4 as we're coming up on the 1-minute mark here in the opening quarter. Be a 3rd down and 3 coming up for the Raiders. You're looking at the Mariners, a play like this, and again, it's tough because Toms River North playing against really, really high-level talent. You know, the Rumsons of the world, the Donovan Catholics, the Colts next to the walls. It's that second line of defense there, that linebacking core. It's going to have to make a couple stops here. You got Bolin, you got Rodriguez. As we get Scanlon swallowed up. That time totally in there. The Toms River North right in. Speaking of number 10 there, Boland. No gain. And now with about 15 seconds remaining here in this quarter, you'd have to figure that Coach Sandberg going to take it in to quarter number 2. Give him a little extra time to think about what he wants to do here with a 4th down and 3 coming up on the other side. Early on in this one, it's Toms over North after 1 quarter, leading on their home turf 7-0 against their crosstown rivals, the Raiders of Toms River East. You look at Toms River North, you know, on this home turf here at Garnard Field, you'd think that Coach Osowitz would have a much better record. He's only 21-19 as head coach of the Mariners here, but he's 12-4 against Toms River East and Toms River South combined. So definitely a favorite here to, you know, play against these 2 schools of East and South. As far as North, early on, they were number 15 in the preseason poll, but then that stiff competition every week, just barreling them down one after the other, leads them to this 1-3 record. But again, if you look at kind of this first quarter, they don't look like a team that's 1-3. They've got a lot of talent, a lot of speed. Their depth is starting to kind of grow as this season has gone on, as you get more players getting that varsity playing time. A lot of players getting their first varsity action this season. So, you know, you got Coach Osowitz, then you got the staff there on the defensive and offensive lines, Bill Dowd. You know, they definitely like some of their younger guys coming in. And then some of the, you know, juniors and seniors who are providing a leadership for the Mariners, guys like Mike Dowd, the captain.
4th down and 2 for the Raiders.
And it appears as though we're going to have Carr punting the ball away deep. That'll be number 4, Jeremiah Pruitt, awaiting the kick here. As Carr punts it, nice punch straight up in the air, straight to him about the 20-yard line, muffs it. Then a Raiders player had a chance to get it, and I think it was Josh Moore who came back there to get it at about the 10-yard line. So both teams an opportunity to get it. It was Moore, the sophomore, who jumped on it last. And it'll be 1st and 10 Mariners at their 11-yard line, but another opportunity. Those are the types of things that if you ask, you know, Coach Sandberg, those are the things that have just not gone right for them this season. All those opportunities with the loose balls that are on the turf, and then just some of the, you know, penalties that were ill-advised at ill-advised times. So we'll see how that plays out the rest of this one, but an opportunity missed for the Raiders. And disaster averted there for Toms River North as they'll start their second drive at their own 11-yard line. Hand off to Moore around the left side. That time Toms River East not having any of it. You saw a big number 64 there. Joe Rome coming in to make the stop, no gain. You look at Moore, you know, 5'9", 160. We're kind of used to Toms River North the last few years having some of those bigger backs and maybe a smaller quarterback like a Mike Husney. This year it's actually the inverse, as you've got Ford listed 6'1", 205, and then Moore, you know, just about 160 pounds. So you're not going to get many yards unless you open up the interior of that defense. Ford going with a spread look here. 5 wideouts. Brings Moore back in the backfield. Hand off to him. Around the left side, short gain. Medina comes up, makes the stop at about the 14-yard line and bring up a 3rd down, and we'll call it 7. Got a spellback coming in for Toms River North. Then we got some guys here, 11 Ranella and number 4 Jeremiah Pruitt. A stacked set here on the close side of the screen. That one bobbled, flips it out there, and that time Toms River East got it right away. Medina diagnosed it quickly and got over there. No gain, maybe lost a yard. And so a quick 3 and out here for Toms River North as the Raiders defense looking much better on that second drive. At the very least might be able to flip field position here after exchanging punts.
4th down on 8 for the Mariners.
It'll be 8 punting to number 8. 8 Ryan Rimbo, the lefty, kicks it up here. Takes a Mariners bounce right up the sideline. Couldn't have planned it any better. Looked like it was going to bounce out at about the Mariners 45 or so, but then takes a little extra skip right up the sideline and falls at the Raider 47.
At the East 47-yard line.
So we'll have to see what the plan of attack will be. As you got some guys with speed if you're Tom's over East. You got Nevin Hart, number 8. You got Carr, who's been that north-south guy. You got Medina, who tonight has been the north-south guy as well. They're both 200-pounders, so if they can win the line of scrimmage and move some of those bodies on north around, they might be able to create a little bit of a running game here. It'll be 1st and 10. Hard in motion. Keeper by Scanlon up the middle. And he's plowing his way across the midfield out to about the Mariner 48. As Ford was there early on the tackle. And Rodriguez as well, but the senior, number 5, keeping his feet going. Gains a couple extra yards, gain of 5 there on 1st down. Remember, it was Tom's Reese with the ball first to start the game, so clock management will play a role in this one. 3rd down conversions, obviously taking care of the football, which they didn't do early on. That fumble at about this same spot on the field. They'd like no more than to go down and tie this game up. Call a 2nd and 5 here for Mariner 48. Back to throw. Scanlon looking left. He's got Medina across the top, and it's complete down to about the 20-yard line. That's something we've not seen from Tom's River East a lot this season, but Medina going up the seam. Both Mariners defenders look like a breakdown in coverage, and so you get a 27-yard gain from Scanlon to Medina, and now they're knocking on the door of the red zone. That's something we were watching pregame from up here in the press box. You saw both quarterbacks, whether it was Scanlon or the kind of backup quarterback, Pines, Brandon Pines, number 25. They were practicing all those throws. You haven't really seen that much this season from Scanlon, but a great time to have it there. It sets up a 1st and 10 now at the 21-yard line. Misdirection play there, Medina. Long stretch play. Gets inside the 20 down to about the 17. Good pickup of 4 on 1st down. You always got to wonder, whether you're watching this kind of game or you're watching college, not so much the pros, but really college and high school. You got to wonder with those misdirection plays whether or not they're just trying to set up a quarterback keeper like we've seen with Scanlon on that other side sometime later in the game. Looks like it's going to be Buckman lined up against Dean. Kind of wide receiver, defensive back matchup, and a timeout by Tom's Arist here at the 6:49 mark, with a 2nd and 6 coming up. So we'll try to take a look around, see if we got any scores going on. A lot of these games, remember, are happening later tonight, so the Donovan Catholic Wall game, there's still no score, as that's the heavyweight battle between 5 and 3. Then the game's obviously starting later, Middletown South and Southern, Manalapan and Jackson, so probably won't have as many final scores tonight, but we'll still be able to update you throughout the evening. As far as Tom's River East, last week against Long Branch, they only had 92 yards of total offense. They only managed to get 69 yards on the ground. So if they're going to do something here tonight, especially as we get closer to the goal line, that running game is going to have to come alive for the Raiders. So coming out of the timeout, 2nd down and 6 Raiders. Carr in motion. Quarterback keeper. Scanlon stretched out. No place to go. That was Kazanowski in there early. And coming in was also 33 McDougald. Loss of about 3. And so now it'll be a 3rd down and 9 coming up. Have to wonder if it'll be 2-down territory as we've got the Mariner Maniacs down to our left here from the press box going crazy. They've got the blackout theme, and then across the way you've got the whiteout theme for Raider Nation. Can bet that the Maniacs are going to be a little loud here on a 3rd down and 9 with 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. Raiders have to get to the 11-yard line to move the sticks. Scanlon takes a snap, back to throw, looks to his right, flips it out to the flat. That's Buckman again. Could not break the tackle out there. That was 32. Ryan Dean in on the tackle quick. Minimizes the gain. And I'll bring up a 4th down and a long 5 here.
At the time, 16-yard line. 4th down and about 5.
It appears as though Coach Sandberg going to try a field goal here. Should be about a 33-yard attempt. As we got our producer Chip Phillips saying, hey, he hit from about 30 in warm-ups. As a timeout called by Tom's-River North here, trying to ice the kicker a little bit. You don't see many field goal attempts in high school football. And the whole kind of yardage, you know, you're playing fantasy football or something like that on Sunday with all these NFL kickers. You think, well, a 50-yard field goal really long, 55. You had the 66-yarder, right, from Justin Tucker a couple weeks back for the Ravens. With these guys, if you can hit a 33-yard field goal consistently, you got something good going. So obviously a lot of confidence in Mike Bruno, the junior. We'll see if coming out of this Tom's-River North timeout, if they send him back out there to kick it. And it appears as though the offense coming out. So a rethink here from Coach Sandberg as he was going to send out Bruno for the kick. Tom's-River North calls timeout. Extra time to reconsider. 4th and 5, offense on the field. Maniacs with a bit of crowd noise. Carr goes in motion. And we'll get a flag here. And offsides against Tom's-River North. Puts it right on the 11-yard line. And it will be an automatic 1st down. So, bit of a chess match there. Tom's-River North coming up on the short end of it as they give a free 5 yards to the Raiders, who get the 1st down at the 11-yard line the easy way via the penalty. If you're a Raider fan, you got to be thinking, how big would a touchdown be right here? About 5 minutes remaining here in the opening half. Raiders got the ball around midfield. They've marched their way down to the Mariner 11. Scanlon trying to find a hole, nothing there. Looked like it was Pruitt, number 4, on the tackle. You got to figure Tom's-River North, with all that size, they're going to try to bottle up the interior. You know, whether we're talking about, you know, Kay or Dowd or Matthew or McDougald, right? You got to figure they're going to be in there. And maybe Bolin coming up from the linebacking core to make a stop. 2nd down and 10. Misdirection. Hart around the edge. Dowd can't get him. And he's going to dive in for a touchdown. So a little misdirection, delayed reverse there to Nevin Hart, and Hart gets the edge and scores from about 11 yards out. So we're an extra point away here from a tie ball game. As the Raiders come down, they answer the Toms River North score with a score of their own. It'll be Pines on the hold and Bruno to kick it through. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up. And it's picturesque as Bruno ties this ball game up at 7 at the 4:14 mark here in the second quarter between the Raiders and the Mariners. So if you thought Toms River East was going to go away after that first touchdown, not happening yet. As they come down, they score about half the field. The key play on that drive, besides the touchdown by Hart, probably that 4th and 5 penalty against Toms River North that then set them up with a fresh set of downs. And they only used 2 to get into the end zone with Nevin Hart. Now let's see what Toms River North can do here on their next offensive possession. And we'll see if the Raiders defense maybe has a little bit of a spark after they had that 3 and out on their last possession. And now the touchdown by the offense. Let's see if maybe there's a little bit of life, a little energy flying into the football for the Raiders defense. Back deep for Toms River North, it'll be Pruitt, number 4, and Moore, number 24. You're kind of looking down here at the North fans here, a little bit of concern, obviously. Last week they scored the first touchdown against Rumson and then they didn't score again, so they're hoping it's not a repeat this week. As Bruno kicks, it's a short one, fielded by an upback at about the 30-yard line. And he's got some room as he's going, still going, all the way out there. Nice return there by number 32, Ryan Dean, up across midfield to about the 44. So you see that a lot here in high school football. You try to stay away from the speedsters back deep in Pruitt and Moore, and sometimes you bite off a little bit more than you can chew, as the upback Dean ends up bringing it across midfield and sets the Mariners up with excellent field position at the Toms River East 44. And here's where you kind of see that contrast in style. East, they want to take a lot of time, consider everything. North right up to the line here, big front. Should be a quarterback keeper. So around the strong side, Moore across, or Ford rather, across the 40, down to about the 34. Should be close to a first down. So it appears as though Toms River North, they figured out this calculus. So we could get 10 guys to block up front, put in a lot of tight ends here. You got 33 McDougal, a tight end, and you got 16 Kazanowski, a tight end, and you got 9 Vandervliet, a tight end, all in there. So you're really going to press this Toms River East defense. This time a hand to Moore up the middle. He tripped. Otherwise, that would have been an even bigger gain up to the 27-yard line. Gain of 7 on first down. Made the cutback. He put his foot in the turf and then just tripped up. They'll mark him down to the 28. Bring up a second down and 4 as we come up on 3 minutes here in the opening half. All tied, but Toms River North, short field, trying to punch it in and take the lead again. Ford keeps it. Breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle. That time, though, Carr comes in, finishes him off up top, but not before the sophomore gets another Mariners first down. Kind of getting a sense here. This could be a huge drive for both teams. You have Toms River North. They've got an opportunity to get a 2-for-1 here, finish off this first half in the end zone, and then get the ball first to start the second half. For Thompsonville East, this is a situation they have not handled too well this season. They got to try to stop these guys before they get in the end zone. Moore again motioning back into the backfield alongside Ford. Handoff, strong side. Up the middle, cuts back, in for the end zone, touchdown. Josh Moore, as we've got a little bit of pushing and shoving there in the back, but it's not going to change the result, as we've got a 20-yard touchdown scamper by Josh Moore, the sophomore, as Thompsonville North reclaims the lead here late in this first half. Got a little cannon there. Hey, I thought the Civil War was next week. Whoa, snap a little high there. Over the head of Moore. And Corsi just going to fall on it, so we'll have to see whether or not that plays a huge role later in this one, as that extra point not even contested there. And so with 2:15 remaining here in this first half, it's a 13-7 lead for Thompsonville North. That one you can't blame on the holder or the kicker. That was totally on the long snapper. Really never gave him a chance to get it down. A little James Brown here too. I miss the old days. Remember the old days with Barna, with Sweet Caroline all over the place, right? Speaking of things, we got baseball. You know, seeing John Biscotti earlier, right? We won't talk about the Yankees though, but the Braves are playing. I'm excited. The Braves are actually playing in the playoffs. So, as here we go. Let's see what Thompsonville East can do. They're going to have 2 timeouts. A little over 2 minutes remaining. See if they could get a nice return here and set something up for their offense. Osowitz kicks it deep. This one muffed again by Phillips. He's had a little trouble tonight. Reverses field, comes back to the short side here and down quickly, as that was number 9 on the tackle, Vandervliet, right at about the 20-yard line. This is one of those situations where you always worry as a coach, because you're down by 6. You want to do something here because you want to kind of reclaim the momentum going into halftime, but you don't want to make the big mistake. You don't want to have a fumble. You don't have an interception, because Thompsonville North will come right down and score quickly on a short field. So have to be careful. They're going to put a lot of trust in the ball handling skills and decision making of Eric Scanlon. Guy who's paid his dues within this program. Been knocked around a lot as the quarterback here for the Raiders. Let's see how conservative or aggressive East wants to play this last 2 minutes. Handoff up the middle to Medina. No, it's going to be Scanlon. A good fake there. Picks up 5 yards. 150 and rolling. Thompsonville East still bringing in the play from the sideline, so they're going a little bit faster than they've gone this first half, but they don't appear to be in a great hurry. This time up the middle to Medina. He pushes forward closer to the 30-yard line. Should have a first down. Maybe just a little short. They're going to mark him. They'll mark him just a little short. So it'll be a 3rd down and 1. Have to wonder whether or not Coach Oz might call a timeout if they could get a negative play here. We just hit the 1-minute mark. Quarterback keeper Scanlon up the middle gets the first down. And a lot of fighting on that side. And a flag there, that ill-advised flag there. It's going to go against 32, Ryan Dean. If Fighting with an East wide receiver, not what Coach Oz wanted.
34-yard line.
As that's going to be 15 yards after the play. Brings it up near midfield, so we get a personal foul against Toms River North. At 15 yards should put the ball up around midfield, and now the Raiders, with about 50 seconds remaining, might think a little bit more aggressively here with their 2 timeouts. If you recall, they were going to send Bruno out there as we get the clock rolling on the ready for play. And he's taking a lot of time here, so I don't think they're going to be able to take as much advantage of that penalty as they may have liked. Let's see whether or not they dial up a pass play here. We saw right about this spot on the last drive. They got it to Medina to set up that touchdown. See what they have here. They'll call timeout with 18 seconds. Check the play call. And so the Raiders call timeout here, 18 seconds. They've held their own here in this first half against Toms River North, who was, kind of had this game circled on their schedule for a while now. They were just trying to get out of that American division unscathed without a lot of injuries. Now back-to-back weeks for Toms River North to finish out the regular season against their 2 crosstown rivals, Toms River East and Toms River South, right here at home. Perfect opportunity to try to clinch a home playoff game. And then the new kind of wave, we saw this last year too with these short conference pods, trying to seed the teams based upon how they finish within their division. So we'll see whether or not Toms River North hosts a game, or East or South, coming up the weekends of the 22nd and 29th. Obviously a little bit of business though to settle here tonight between these Mariners and Raiders. 18 seconds left in this first half. East coming out of a timeout with a 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Be Medina in motion. And off to Carr. He's going to look to throw, and he's got him deep, just a little bit overthrown. Had him down there. Encarnacion was streaking down there. There were 2 or 3 Mariner defenders who had it red. Maybe a little bit more touch on that, and Carr might have been able to hit him down the sideline. The pass falls incomplete. It'll be a 2nd and 10 here with 13 seconds remaining. They still have a timeout left in their pocket. So they could afford to use the middle of the field here and then call a quick timeout. Handoff Medina up the middle, and that time no place to go, as you had 10 Bolin in there and number 33 McDougald. And that should be the end of our first half. A first half that saw Toms River East play a lot like Toms River East early and then came back, tied the game up. Toms River North answering back with a touchdown of their own, but a missed extra point leaves us at a 13-7 ball game as we go into halftime. So we'll see the halftime adjustments between these two schools. By Toms River East, they want to clean up some of the interior defense, especially when they had Ford, and then they also had the touchdown by Moore coming in. As far as for Toms River North, the offense is clicking, maybe a little bit of thinking going on in that defense.